Some of you may know that I was born in Guatemala, and my grandma told me about this company of women who make Guatemalan kippas. She saw them at a bar mitzvah that she went to, and she just absolutely loved them, called me up and said, "You have to get these for your bar mitzvah." So I am giving you all one of these, handmade in Guatemala.
מטעמים לרוב, בואי בואי הקלה, יום שבת יום מנוחה, בואי נא הקלה, בואי בואי המלרה, Yom Shabbat Yom Menucha.
Every experience in the life of every human being, something is asked of me. Whether discussing the Torah portions for the month of January, where the children of Israel have to ask themselves how to respond to the challenges of slavery, or discussing the civil rights movement in anticipation of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday on Monday, or this quotation from Abraham Joshua Heschel, whose yahrzeit we marked on the 18th of Tevet, when the day we returned to school. Students at CJDS, from kindergarten through the 6th grade, are taught to ask themselves, with every experience in the life of every human being, what is asked of me? The kindergarten discussed the power of one. Kindergarten, would you bring up to Susan your poster which shows your picture of the power of one? We can make a difference. We can all make a difference. The 1st grade decided that our responsibilities begin at home, that each of us can do ma'asim tovim, kind acts, in our classroom community and at school. 1st grade, would you bring your poster up so that we can hang it up for all to see? Perhaps thinking of the upcoming holiday of Tu B'Shvat, the 2nd grade imagined a world where children of different colors could work together to make beautiful trees and a beautiful environment. And they imagined, after their work was done, sitting together in the shade of those trees. To meet a human being is the opportunity to sense the image of God. How different would our lives be, the 3rd grade discussed, if each of us were always capable of sensing the image of God? How different would we view our obligations to others in this world? 3rd graders, would you bring up your poster? And 3rd grade has been studying the different continents of the world, and they have shown children from each continent of the world holding hands and remembering that each of them is in the image of God. The 4th grade thought about the diversity of mankind, and they studied the following quotation: God did not make a word, with just a world with just one colored flower. Fourth graders? Fifth grade studied the I Have a Dream speech and were impressed with the following statement: "We won't be satisfied until justice rolls down like the waters, righteousness like a mighty stream." And they thought, as did Martin Luther King in that speech, and the prophet Amos, whom he quotes, that their responsibility is to bring justice to this world. Fifth grade? The sixth grade has been studying the following quotation of Abraham Joshua Heschel: "We have forgotten the meaning of being human and the deep responsibility involved in just being alive." Now, what is the meaning of God? The meaning of God is precisely the challenge of how to be. This challenge of how to be is precisely the dilemma that faces sixth graders as, for the first time in their lives, they are approaching, not for the first time, they're approaching bar and bat mitzvah certainly for the first time in their lives, but they are faced with this dilemma, how to be. The Schneiderman family was faced with a different dilemma. How should Ericka be bat mitzvah? They wanted to have a synagogue celebration with their family in New Jersey. They chose also to mark the occasion here at CJDS because they view CJDS as such a special place, a place where children from grades kindergarten on are taught to ask the question, what are my responsibilities to the world? With every experience in the life of every human being, something is asked of me. I'm going to call upon Ericka right now to say a short prayer and offer a few words.
Dear God, I know I'm in a special place. It is special here because I am here. Because other people dear to me are here. Because you are here, I am here to pray with you, with this congregation. Welcome guests, teachers, families, students, and friends. Thank you for coming today to share this special day with me. I have been a student here at CJDS since kindergarten. This has been not only my school, but my second Jewish family. This is where I learned to be Jewish, with love and joy. I learned what it means to be a mensch, to share, to care, and to learn how to fix God's world. I have been so very fortunate to have so many wonderful teachers and role models. Some of you may know that I was born in Guatemala. I have a present for each of my teachers that was handmade in Guatemala. These gifts were made by women and girls not as fortunate as I to have a wonderful education and a chance to be my very best in this world. I would now like to call upon Yehudit and Cheryl for Lecha Dodi. Yehudit and Cheryl have been my teachers for both second and third grade. Yehudit has been my bat mitzvah tutor. Once again, I am lucky to have Cheryl as my sixth grade teacher. I would now like to call upon Annalyn and Susan for lighting the candles. I remember in kindergarten, the morning rug, special shop tote, and nap time with Annalyn. In art, I remember doing many creative projects with Susan, and when I couldn't think of how to express myself, her enthusiasm helped me. I would now like to call upon Mrs. Goodman and Rabbi Levine for the prayer for peace. I remember when Mrs. Goodman was the principal of this school and then passed it on to Rabbi Levine, another bright, warm, and loving person. Rabbi, you're doing a great job, and we kids think you're terrific. I would now like to call upon Shula and Joni for Vishamru. I remember when Shula taught me Hebrew and music, and when we sang songs, she played her accordion beautifully. I realized in her class that I could sing and carry a tune. Joni taught me to read music and how to play the recorder. I would now like to call upon Aaron and Mrs. Foster to lead Kiddush. In 5th grade, I remember when Aaron dressed up and how funny he was. I also remember writing a lot with Mrs. Foster, but she never got tired. She was also my first teacher to come to my ballet performances. She made me feel so appreciated for all my efforts. I have recently celebrated my birthday. I'd like to invite anyone else who has had a birthday since our last Kabbalat Shabbat to please join us as we recite Kiddush.
Hashem
I would like to call upon Katie and Gina for Hamotzi. In first grade, I remember Katie welcoming Ariot and how excited I was to get my Hebrew cursive book. Gina was always there for me in physical education if I got hurt or needed help. She was always so positive and supportive of my efforts.
The sixth grade has been discussing the responsibilities of being human in the context of their history class. They will now help us to express the CJDS vision for a better world.
During our recent social studies unit on the Revolutionary War period, we studied the struggles and triumphs that created the United States of America. But the challenges did not end in 1781, the official date of the British surrender.
Throughout the war to guide our country through difficult times. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Abraham Lincoln were early political leaders. They strove to create a government true to the Declaration of Independence.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Many years later, Martin Luther King Jr. and Abraham Joshua Heschel worked to advance these ideals, that black men as well as white men would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Today we share with you some of the powerful words from Martin Luther King Jr.'s momentous speech, "I have a dream."
We cannot walk alone, and as we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream.
We say to you today, even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out to the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down at the table of brotherhood.
I have a dream that one day, even in the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. We have a dream today.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
You may have noticed, as did the 5th grade in their studies of I Have a Dream speech, that Martin Luther King paraphrases the Hebrew prophet Amos. Abraham Joshua Heschel, in his groundbreaking monumental volume on the prophets, notes that the most common symbol of justice is the scales, which connotes that everybody gets their due. It's sort of a balancing between one side and the other, a conformity, a congruence, a proportion of some kind. In sharp contrast stands the image of the Hebrew prophets. Let justice roll down like waters, righteousness like a mighty stream. Heschel writes, what is required is a power that will change, strike and change, heal and restore, like a mighty stream bringing life to a parched land. There is a thirst for righteousness that only a mighty stream can quench. Our wish as teachers at the Columbus Jewish Day School is that our children graduate with a thirst for righteousness that only a mighty stream can quench. The 6th grade begins this year a study of the Hebrew prophets. So I will call upon Ericka to chant the selection in Hebrew that King quoted in his speech, as well as a few verses from the prophet Micah, the prophet Micah, in which he describes in what it is that God asks of us as human beings.
Dirshu tov v'ara leman techirhu v'chichen Adonai el hetzvot itachem kasher amartem inura v'yehevu tov v'hatzigu vashar mishpat ulai yechenan Adonai Elohei Tzavot Sherit Yosef Haser me'alai Hamon Shirecha Vezimrat Nevilecha Lo Eshma Veigal Kamaim Mishpat Utzedaka Kanachal Eitan Bama Akadem Adonai Ikav Lelohei Maram Ha'akad menu ve'olot Bagalim b'nei shana Haritzei Adonai be'alfeilim Be'revavot nachalei shamen Haiten bechori pishi Peri vitni chatat nafshi Higid lecha Adam ma'atav Adonai Doresh mimcha Ki imasot mishpat Ve'ahavat chesed Ve'atznei alechet Im Elohecha.
The African American community in the United States has long turned to the Torah portions that we are reading in this month of Tevet and Shvat coming up for inspiration in their own struggle for civil rights. Those Torah portions describe the enslavement of the children of Israel and their ultimate delivery out of bondage.
Thank you, Hashem, our God, source of blessing, for letting me see a new day, for making me a Jewish person, for giving me freedom, for forming me in your image, for providing me with all my needs, for creating heaven and earth, for opening our eyes to all that is around us, for strengthening those who are tired or afraid, for offering us guidance. Becoming a bat mitzvah allows me lots of new opportunities with lots of new responsibilities. I know it will take a lot of practice, patience, and perseverance to grow up. Thanks to CJDS for getting me started. I would like to say a special thank you to Yehudit. Without her, none of this would have been possible, so thank you very much. Thank you all for coming to my celebration. Shabbat Shalom.